Ready for the video?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Choose consciously, you don't have to get married because everybody is getting married. You don't have to talk about marriage and divorce in same breath.
Marriage. What I see today is…
Again, agree with him on the idea that,
Present practice. What's conscious? This is Vish and
Emerald,
and today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
marriage.
I'm an aspiring yogi. I've been meditating for over 4 years now. Love all things meditation, wisdom, and yoga based. And I'm today here with Emerald. Want to introduce yourself?
I'm Emerald. I'm an Austin-based model, and I love modeling. I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you for being here, Emerald. Real quickly, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on marriage? Good, bad, early, young? What are your thoughts?
I love marriage. I love the idea of love in general, so I'm excited to see what this is going to be on.
Yeah, me too. I know it's a very open-ended question, which I have no clue about. But honestly, with that,
let's get into it.
yes, please.
My name is Anant. My question is about marriage, divorce. I am married.
No, they're two different things, huh?
Marriage… What I see today is many youngsters, like many of them, they don't want to marry. And few of them who marry, there are occasions where they are getting divorced. So, would you like to throw some light on this situation, Sadhguru?
See, you need to understand the institution of marriage. It's about bringing a certain sanctity to the simple basic needs that every human being has. There are physical needs, there are psychological needs, there are economic needs, emotional needs, social needs, variety of needs. To fulfill all these things, we set up an institution called marriage where all this can be conducted in a sensible manner. Otherwise, if we did it on the streets like every other creature, it would turn ugly for us and we will feel not good about it. So to bring some sense of organization, some aesthetic, some stability, because man and woman coming together naturally brought fresh life. It is, compared to any other creature, it is the most helpless life, which needs maximum amount of support. You could leave a puppy on the street, as long as he gets food, he grows up into a good dog, no problem. But not so with a human being. He doesn't need just physical support, he needs variety of support and above all, a stable situation. Whether there should be marriage in society or not, one will debate when they are 18 because physical body is asking for freedom, all right? At that time, everybody questions, is marriage really needed? Why can't we just live whichever way we want?
That is an interesting question. I think that is the question of the video, right? Should marriage even exist? So far from what he's discussed, what do you think?
I agree with him on the circumstance of, marriage helps with physical needs, emotional needs, psychological, anything like that, and it provides balance to one person and it helps balance out the other person as well, so I agree with that. So, yeah.
That's a great perspective, and yeah, I think I see the need, but I guess a real quick take from me would be that I don't think it's necessary, but I think I see why it's there, right? But we'd love to hear what he has to say, and let's
get into it.
But when you are 3 years of age, you valued marriage immensely, a stable marriage immensely, isn't it so? Yes or no?
Yes.
Again, when you become 45, 50, you're 100% for marriage. Between 18 and 35, you're questioning the whole process, okay? Because where the physical body is dominant, at that time, if you give in to that, then it will question every institution. This is hormone-fired freedom, okay? Your intelligence has been hijacked by hormones, so you question the fundamentals of everything. I am not saying marriage is the thing, but do you have a better alternative? If you have a better alternative, damn the marriage. But you have not come up with a better alternative. because a stable situation is a must for a child. Once you have a child, it's a 20-year project. Your whims and fancies will change, your emotions will change. If that is what it is, don't get into such situations. It's not compulsory for everybody to get married. It's good, young people, you're saying people are thinking whether to get married, and I'm glad. It is not necessary for everybody. But if you get into it, and especially if you get into children, you must understand it's a minimum 20-year project, whether you like it or you don't like it. Otherwise, you shouldn't get into those projects. You don't walk into your project, drop it halfway and walk away, isn't it? It's your choice, but at least choose consciously. You don't have to get married because everybody is getting married. You don't
Very
have
true.
to talk about marriage and divorce in same breath as if they come together. This is a completely an American idea. You're thinking of marriage and divorce together. Nobody thought of divorce in this country till recently, isn't it? So, if it happens, if something happens, something truly went wrong between two people and they have to separate, that will anyway inevitably happen. You don't have to plan it at the time of wedding. Why should you ever talk about marriage and divorce in one breath? It's a crime.
Well, let's talk about it. So before we actually get into it, would love to hear what you all think after watching this video about whether your views have changed in marriage, whether you agree with Sadhguru or not. Open discussion here, so comment down below. Emerald, what are your thoughts?
On the video, the second half of the video that we watched, I, again, agree with him on the idea that, even people my age are getting married and, starting families already, which is really weird, but to each their own. And it makes you want to give in to that idea even though you're not ready for that. And then I saw when he was talking about the, maturity when you get older, when you get to like your 50s, marriage is like, you have to have it. But when you're younger, your hormones are just like, you kind of want to follow the crowd. So it's kind of like a toss in the air on marriage now.
That's a great perspective. Well, I can just tell, we've actually done a couple of videos so far, and Emerald has great wisdom, so she's not just a mom, but she's wise. So anyways, I agree actually with a lot of what you said. I think it really comes down to perspective, right? I don't think some of these questions, even just the question of like, is God real or not? Like, these are deep questions, right? I don't think a one-liner of like, yes or no will do it justice. And I don't think it's that simple. And so the same principle has to marriage, right? I don't think, like, should marriage be a thing or not? It's a big question. Maybe not as deep as, God or whatever, but I think the key is, again, is the age kind of, I love what he said actually with like, when you're 0 to 3 or like 0 to 18, who doesn't want parents, right? Would you feel the same way?
Yeah, I would, 100%.
Yeah, and so having a stable, marriage while you have kids, I think is super critical, and I agree with him on that. It is a 20-year project. And however, I guess there are situations which, might be out of your control, which does or may lead to that. But I will point out the current statistics, at least in America, I think 1 in 2 marriages, so 50% of marriages are in divorces. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is in India, so if you know about that or whatever country you're from watching this, comment down below the divorce rate, just curious. But yeah, in America it's 50%, which, isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, but also I can see that.
Exactly. And so that's where I don't think that should be the norm, right? So like maybe a few percent is fine, but like when 50%, that means at that point you're committing to something that you're not really committed to, right? Especially when you have kids. But anyways, before we get too much into that, what are your thoughts on having like a partnership where you're not legally married, but you're with someone, maybe having a kid? What do you think about that?
I am open to that. Like, I have not experience, but my stepdad, who isn't legally my stepdad, he's basically married to my mom, but they're not married, but they live together. They have like all of us together. Like, we're like a family, and they don't want to get married, but it works for them. So I feel like if it works for you and you are ready for that, then I say go ahead with that. I don't think everything has to 100% end in marriage.
Makes sense. And I'm curious, if you don't mind sharing, is there a reason why they don't want to get actually married or legally married?
Honestly, I don't know. My mom and my dad are still best friends. They divorced a couple years ago, but they're best friends. So I feel like part of that might make it feel like it's intruding on the family, but they work together. I call him my stepdad. He loves us as much as like my mom loves us. So it works for them. It's just they don't want marriage, but it works.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Emerald. I appreciate the transparency, and it means a lot. I think I really value transparency as a superpower. I think it's really essential, and being open is, it's a great thing. So thank you. And yeah, no, I think at least a quick view I have, and it's something actually Sadhguru was asked about with, for example, just like the question of like LGBTQ rights or whatever. He basically kept it simple, and he says that the government shouldn't get involved with what you do in your bedroom, right? So I guess you could extend that towards your house, right? I don't think the government needs to get involved with whether you're married or not. So I would agree with that. I think partnerships are fine. I mean, I can see the need though, where like legally there's, with tax purposes and blah, 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 it can be helpful. But yeah, I don't think it's needed. But I think the question here is, let me ask you this. How significant of a question do you think marriage, like is marriage a good thing or bad thing? Do you think it's a significant question or not?
Not completely, because I feel like everybody's going to have their own opinion. Now, one person could say marriage is a necessity in life. Another person could say, I don't ever really need to get married. I don't feel a need to do it. It kind of just depends on how stable you want your own life to be. So I feel like the question is so generalized and big, you can't put one exact answer on it.
I love that. And also going off of that, going back to kind of recircling to our initial talk, I want to point out how I think, especially from the ages of 18 to 40, as he says, is the time we'll think about it. But I don't think marriage is that significant of a topic, right? There's so many more deeper things to life. Yeah. And I think it's just like those hormonal, as he says, emotional, hormonal kind of triggers that like make you think about that stuff. And like, love is cool. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I think this is the time and age where we get a bit overly attached. What do you think? Yeah, everyone kind of wants to just jump at it. Everyone's into relationships and they want love because social media promotes everything. You see one relationship on social media and you're like, I have to have it. So I agree. Yeah, no, social media is definitely something you should be careful of and just conscious of. But I do want to appreciate you, Emerald, for being here and sharing your views, and really want to shout out you also for watching and taking this time. If you agreed or disagreed with me, Emerald, or Sadhguru, that's fine, or agreed, also that's fine, but just share your views about this topic in the comments down below. With that, don't forget to check out Emerald. All of our stuff will be down below, and remind them where again they can find you. My Instagram is EMERALDDLEN. If you have any other video reaction requests or personality types you want to bring on the show, you can also comment down below. And with that, make a great day, take it joyful, and stay conscious. Awesome job, Emerald. Thank you. You're great.